to my channel. Today, I want to chat about a really fun day that's coming up this month. If you haven't heard, February 2nd, 2022, or 2/22/22, falls on a Tuesday. I mean, does it get more exciting than that for teachers? So today, I want to share with you some fun books that you can read aloud with your class to celebrate Tuesday. We're going to be talking about books about Tuesday, the number 2, and even tacos, because Taco Tuesday, of course. But before we jump into those books, if you're new here, my name is Sarah, and I show up on this YouTube channel every Sunday night with read aloud tips and book ideas that you can use in your classroom right away. If that sounds like something you're interested in, give this video a thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button down below. Now, let's talk about some read aloud books for Tuesday. This first one is a really fun book that I think your students will definitely get a kick out of. This one is called 2 of Everything. In this story, Mr. and Mrs. Hacktack are very hard workers, but they're also kind of poor. One day, digging in their garden, they find this brass pot. Well, I think it's just kind of an ordinary pot, but then when Mrs. Hacktack drops her hairpin into it, the only one that she has, she reaches in to grab it and 2 come out. The family realizes that anytime they drop something into the pot, it doubles. How amazing is that? And so they start throwing all sorts of things in, money especially. But then, one day, something kind of crazy happens. Mrs. Hacktack falls into the pot. Well, guess what? 2 of her come out. And things start to get a little problematic after that, if you can imagine. It's such a fun, silly story, and your class will have great discussions about it. You can talk about what they would put in that they might want to double, or you can pull in some math concepts and talk about doubling with your students. This is a great book to read aloud for Tuesday. The next book that I have for Tuesday is 2 Bad Ants. And I thought this was a good one because it has the number 2 in the title. In this story, 2 ants go on the adventure of a lifetime into a kitchen. You can imagine all the amazing things that they find. The neat thing about this book, though, is that each image is shown from the ant's perspective. So your students get a whole new look on things that they normally see in their kitchen, but from a very different viewpoint. I think it'll really amaze them to see what a sugar crystal looks like through the eyes of an ant. And you'll get to see all the trouble that these ants get into in the kitchen. Another great book for Tuesday. And speaking of Tuesday, we have the book Tuesday. This is a wordless picture book, and I've also talked about this in my video all about how to use wordless picture books in the classroom, and you can check that out right here, and I'll also leave a link in the description box down below. But this Caldecott Medal Award winner is such an enchanting book, and it really brings the imagination to life as you see frogs flying through town on lily pads. Your students will really enjoy seeing all the things that the frogs get into throughout the night, and how the humans react the next morning when they find things scattered throughout their town. Again, you can have another great conversation with your students about what they think the frogs might fly into throughout the night on this not so ordinary Tuesday night. Another book that I have to celebrate Tuesday is a book called Joyful Noises. And this book is full of poems, but they're poems for 2 voices, where 2 students read them together, and it goes back and forth between the 2 and makes such a unique and interesting reading experience. And each poem in this book celebrates the insect world, and your students will really learn a lot more about insects as they read through this story with a partner. Not only are the poems funny, smart, and playful, but they're informational as well. I think your class will really enjoy reading these 2-voice poems for Tuesday. And since we're talking about Tuesday, which I know is a popular day for tacos, I thought that Dragons Love Tacos 2 would be a great book for you to share to celebrate Tuesday in February. In this sequel to Dragons Love Tacos, there are no more tacos left anywhere in the world. So the dragons think if only there was a way that they could go back in time before tacos were extinct. But They need to make sure that there's none of that spicy salsa that they encountered in the first book. Your students will love this one just as much as they love Dragons Love Tacos, and because it is a great book for not only Taco Tuesday, but for Tuesday with the number 2. So in addition to sharing picture books about the number 2 or tacos or Tuesday, I thought another way to celebrate Tuesday on February 22nd, 2022 would be to share books that have 2 characters in it that are really great friends. So I have a couple of those to share with you. First, we have Henry and Mudge. Henry's a young boy who has this really large dog named Mudge who he loves to spend time with. A great pair of 2 friends that love to hang out together. Another great pair is Zoe and Sassafras. This is a relatively new series and it's a chapter book, so it's a little bit longer, but Zoe and her cat Sassafras, another kid and pet duo, love to figure out science experiments together to help out their friends in kind of this fantasy world. A great pair to share with your students for Tuesday. Another one of my favorite pairs is Elephant and Piggy. These are great for the younger crowd. Elephant and Piggy are 2 very funny characters who love to spend time together and get into some silly adventures. Again, this one is for the younger crowd. The pages have very few words on them, but they are great for sharing voice as you're speaking or as you're reading, because Elephant and Piggy have very exciting ways of talking, and your students will definitely love them as much as I do. And the last pair that I have is an iconic duo that many of you have heard of before, Frog and Toad. These 2 best friends are a great way to share Tuesday celebrations together. So those are all the books that I have for you to help celebrate Tuesday on February 22nd, 2022. I'm curious, are you celebrating Tuesday in your class this year? If you are, leave a comment down below. I'd love to see what's going on in your classrooms to celebrate this kind of fun and unique day that doesn't happen very often. If this video was helpful for you, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button down below. I'll be back next Sunday night with more read aloud tips and book ideas that you can use in your classroom right away. Have a great week.